Thank you.
I get it.
All right.
Right?
I am here with the band Oddleaf from France.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hi, everyone.
hello.
Hello.
I found out about you from I forgot what the radio program is, and they played one of your demos on air, and I was like, and a few of my friends that said you should get them on your show because since you guys are starting out, this is kind of a good way to get in on, how did they say, the ground level.
Yes.
So I'm sure everyone else is curious out there, the origins of Oddleaf.
Origins.
Origins. I am from Austria. I'm not French. Yeah, I'm from Austria, and these two are from France, and the other two also.
Oh, so you're the odd woman out.
Yes, I'm the odd woman.
How did you guys meet?
We are in couple with Karina, and we already play music together since long in medieval music. But besides that, we are really fan of progressive rock, and we decided to start this project just before the pandemic, because we had suddenly a lot of time, and it was the perfect moment to work on this project.
Yeah, it was the perfect moment to compose a lot of music. This is sure.
Yeah, I've watched so far the three that you got videos you put up.
Yeah.
The two demos and then the live one. And based on that music, what are your influences?
Yeah, influences. I really love the prog from the 70s, obviously. I'm a big fan of, we have some CDs here, we can show you maybe. Everything, Gentle Giant, Anekdoten. This was a big influence. I'm really fan of Anekdoten. I'm also a big fan of Italian prog, like PFM. Really, I love them. I do love Camel too, like the Snow Goose.
Oh yeah.
And really big fan. One of my favorite bands is Wobbler.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, and besides that, I love Gentle Giant, like this album. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, good choices.
Yeah, and of course, the master.
Oh yes.
Steven Wilson. I like everything of him, but this one is my favorite. Yeah.
Me too. Really started with 70s prog. My parents, my father especially, listened to Genesis in the living room and Seconds Out. I remember when I was a kid, the live album from Genesis.
Yeah.
So it was the first thing I really liked. Listened really carefully with the headphones. And so from there, Pink Floyd, yes, and King Crimson, of course. And I really started to dig most genres of progressive rock, like Marion. After that, neo-progressive rock, Marion, IQ, and Italian also, like Carina, Swedish prog, Engelgard, of course, Engelgard, Landberg. Me too. I took one of my favorite records of all time, Epilogue from Engelgard.
Oh yes.
I love this one. Really, it's perfect for me. Perfect progressive rock record from every point of view: production, musicianship, and composition, and mood, everything. Perfect.
Yeah, I got to see them back in 1994 when they came to Los Angeles, and they were loud.
Yeah.
And that was fine, because that's the kind of music that they need to. It wasn't something soft.
No. It's very important band from the renewal of progressive rock in the 90s. They were very, very important. So yeah, and I still listen to, it's my favorite music genre still. And I write also reviews in a French magazine about progressive rock called Big Bang. I didn't took one. Maybe I will go search for one after. I don't know if you know this magazine.
No, I haven't heard of it.
It's the oldest French magazine dedicated to progressive rock, almost 30 years old now, still in paper form.
Still in
So,
paper.
Yeah, this is great.
It's like resistance from the like, not against, but the most of the magazines are web magazines and also.
Yeah. I mean,
And
web magazines are fine, but it's always nice to hold.
yeah, I'm kind of old school for that also.
Yeah.
That's why I
Well,
still
as you
buy
can
CDs.
see, you know,
Yeah.
I don't like digital or streaming. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's the same for us.
I like to hold the album, you know.
Yeah, it's a different approach. You take the record from your shelf, you see the cover, and
for the
it's
cover.
Yeah, the artwork is also really important. It's beautiful. The smell, everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's also the smell. It's curious, but for me, it's the smell too.
Well, so one thing that I recently purchased was this.
Ah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
This
Gorgeous.
is 20 discs,
Yeah.
and no, it wouldn't be the same as if you bought it digital,
Yeah.
No.
because they have a book in it. You know, that's the whole thing, is to open up, whether it's a CD or vinyl, to open it up and to read the credits and everything. You know, that's it's almost like you're getting you get to read about the band as you're listening.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also the lyrics. It's really
Lyrics,
important to be able to read the lyrics when you listen to music.
So Matthew.
And for me, I'm Mathieu. I'm Matthew, if you like. And I know it's quite difficult to pronounce for English-speaking people. Matthew is great. For my part, the music in my family was a bit like Clément, but not so proggish, not yet. More like Beatles, Supertramp, Pink Floyd. And from that, I discovered more the 19 vibe with progressive metal, with Dream Theater, for example. Yeah, I know this band is quite make a lot of I've made a lot of ink spend out, and this album, for example, started to make me understand that, wow, this music is incredible. And I started to listen progressive genre with progressive metal. And after, once I met Clément, because it's we are in the region of Lyon just now, but with Clément, we come from the Côte d'Azur.
South of France.
South of France, yeah. And thanks of Clément, I discovered also Anne Glagouard. This album, the first one first. I remember on their first website there was the first track you could play. Your dog. Do you pronounce it?
I don't know.
And from Anne Glagouard, I understood that it's not not only a kind of music reserved and for elite musicians, you know, like Dream Theater, they are just incredible. You can't make any comparison to us. And thanks of Anne Glagouard, I started to understand that it's possible to play progressive rock with other kind of skill, not only shredding on guitar like hell,
and other kinds of instruments also like the
flute.
flute.
Like flute.
Yeah.
And I'm a wind musician, wind instrument musician, and And after, yeah, I discovered Foxbeard with this album, Kindness of Strangers.
Oh yes.
I liked it, and really, they are not afraid to be proggish for some moment, and some other moment more like pop music. And this was quite easy to enter in. And after, finally, I discovered one of my favorite band. I think it's my favorite band. It's the Flower Kings with this album.
Oh yes.
You know, on the little booklet, you can see some other production from the label. And I saw this Flower Kings Retropolis. I got it, and I started to listen, and it made me instantly remember to Pink Floyd for a moment, and really great. And what I wanted to say something else. Oh, it's like that. And progressive music. And yeah, for Oddleaf, for our band, I already said that with your friends from progrock.com. It was possible to start to think playing progressive music thanks to the discovery of my electronic flute. I don't know if you saw, I have an electronic flute. Because before that, I just played wind instrument, but from Middle Age, you know, really ancient, early music instruments. And thanks to that, I started to think, oh, it can sound like a Moog or like a synthetic, typical progressive sound. And we got the idea with Karina to start this band, Oddleaf.
Well, I noticed that there's a lot of younger progressive rock bands coming out where with the with the modern pop scene, it's kind of refreshing that bands are trying to expand beyond what we listen to on the the normal radios.
Yeah.
I like that it's adventurous. When music is adventurous, whether it's with lyrics or with the music, and sometimes with both, that it takes you off. You listen to it on the headphones, and close your eyes, and you're on a journey with the music. And I think that's what's lacking with most of the modern pop music is it's like the minute it starts, it's over.
Exactly.
And I think that it's because nowadays they do a friend of mine calls it disposable music. It's popular today, but tomorrow it's not. They have a new one and so on.
Yeah.
But with progressive rock, it's timeless, no matter if it was made in the 70s or 2023. It's a timeless thing. People can relate to it more especially if they're into the music. There's no, like I said, timeless.
Exactly. And you have songs which are 10 minutes, 15 minutes long. And this is like a book for me. It's a big journey. And you can listen to a 15-minute song from a band for like 50 times, and you discover all the time something new.
Exactly.
And it's really, this is gorgeous. And when you listen to the radio, but a song is like 3 minutes long, and every song is like the other, and I don't know, there's nothing really special. And in prog music, you have a big journey in ahead of you, and a lot of different instruments, a lot of different atmospheres. It's really, really beautiful.
Yeah. So I guess one of the big questions is your debut album.
Yeah. We are working on it.
Okay.
October.
Normally in October.
No, studio sessions are scheduled for October this year. It will be a 4-track album, so 4 long tracks. There's a new one that we have to work.
We have to work
We
on
play,
really hard, yeah.
because we are not playing it yet. It's the next step. We are doing some gigs now with the songs we know, and
Yeah.
there's a new one that we will record in October. We need to learn it.
Yeah.
It will start in a month, I guess.
Yeah.
It will be an instrumental track, 10 minutes long. So something different from the ones you can listen on the net right now.
Right. I think it's amazing that you can actually go to YouTube and listen to music and to see if it's to your liking.
Yeah.
And plus, it's also great for the bands to get the music out to the community,
Mm.
you know, and get fans that way. You know, people like myself that had never heard of you before, you know, we can discover and you know, go on the journey with you guys, you know.
Yeah,
This is great.
Thanks.
Because,
Yeah,
you
thank
know,
you.
this is
Yeah.
great. And
So we are really new. We are really new, and it took a lot of time to compose all these songs because I have, for example, when I compose a song, for me it's really difficult to make a song which is only 4 minutes long. I can't do that because in my head there are so many ideas and so many melodies, so I can't do a song which is only 4 minutes long. So we have only 4 songs on the first album.
Mm.
Then you know the song Life, Back in Time, and there is a ballad,
kind of slow,
a slow,
Mm.
really a
Mellow
passionate song.
a more atmospheric
Yeah,
song.
and the new one is the 10-minute instrumental song.
now are the titles that are on YouTube, the
Yeah.
song titles, are they going to be the final titles?
Yes, I guess so. Yeah.
It's important to say that Karina is the main composer. I compose one song, but we will put aside just because it's more interesting to have the first album really entirely made by Karina. She's the woman of the band. It's quite unusual because in progressive rock and in music and in rock particularly, there are not so much women in bands and in publics also. And we are quite proud to have our woman, our composer, and we need to say it sometimes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not that often. Progressive rock is associated with, unfortunately, with men in the audience, for different reasons, I guess.
Yeah, I've noticed in the concerts that I've been to and the festivals, it's like, I want to say 99%. I mean, you get that occasional female and and we look and it's like we're in awe. It's like, you like music? You know?
No, really. This is
You
incredible.
know, but I notice it's more.
Yeah.
The 99%, and this was in the early 90s. I'm thinking it's closer to 90% now. Maybe even less. I mean, I guess because it's becoming more, or especially if you have female singers, that's bringing in more females because they feel, I guess, more comfortable with that situation. I don't know the psychology of it, but you know, it seems like if you got a female singer, you're more likely to have more female fans than
Maybe.
a male singer. But yeah, that's it's really cool that, you know, especially like I said earlier about how, you know, a young band coming up in today's musical world that wants to play music that is, you know, 40, 50 years old, the style, and and then they modernize it
Yeah,
where it sounds, I mean, it sounds modern, but it's taking the old ideas.
exactly. Yeah. This is the golden age of music, the 70s.
Now I got a question. The name Oddleaf, where did that come
Honestly, or honestly, it comes from a long series of names
Yeah.
we collected during 1 year or 1 year and a half,
Yes.
and we started to notice that every name are already taken. And we wanted, because we wanted to make a quite serious band, we wanted that the name could be unique.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's special.
and we wanted that people who wants to search for us on internet, and after, sure,
There is a story behind
yeah,
it. Yeah.
there is a story. And Oddleaf is I think the story will be on the first album, written in the
Yeah.
booklet.
Yeah.
And it's a story about leaves on a big
on a special
world
tree.
tree. Leaves are a bit like people, and there are some kind of different colored leaves, and these colored leaves represent means people who try to think the world differently, and who think to, like this eternal fights between nature and humankind. And we wanted to explain in this little story that maybe leaves can communicate between them, and we can spread a new era with more respect between humankind and nature.
Yeah.
A long dream.
So
Well,
the name sounded great.
yeah, and Oddleaf.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be, honestly, thought it was going to be my generation, but I think it's going to be your generation that's going to do more change than any previous generation.
We hope so.
Well, you're more. I listen to different shows on YouTube, different subjects, and it just sounds like someone that's about 20, almost 30 years younger than me gets what they need to do for the planet, and also for mankind, because the only difference is really between us is the region that we were born. That's it. Doesn't matter what we look like, what languages we speak. We're the same. It's just we were born in different regions of the planet.
Exactly. And with our music and the story behind our name, we wanted to create a little universe, it should be our universe. So, for example, if you watch movies today or series, it's all really negative. It's like it's all the time the end of the world. We will go to Mars. We will live on Mars. We will be on the full of robots. Yeah, and I find that really, really, really sad. And with Oddleaf, we thought we could create a little world where the utopia is possible, where another world is possible with more positivity and more confidence that we can change something. And I think we will explain all this in some lyrics in the first album, and maybe a little bit more in the next album, in the second one. We have a little concept in our head. So did you hear the name solar punk?
No.
Solar punk. Do you know steampunk?
Yes.
Yeah, and there is this thing called solar punk. Maybe Mathieu.
It's a kind of dreamed world about how humanity could turn, and how humanity could imagine his future, because like Karina said, everything now is like already written in series, and humankind can't imagine something else, and so it will happen. We have a lot of examples that technology builders, they are inspired sometimes by sci-fi from the 90s for the 2000 years, and if we try to start to imagine something else in series, in music, in books, comics, maybe humankind could want something else. It's not already written that we will destroy everything in nature. It's not already written that we will go to Mars. It's not, and we want to be a bit to be a bit
rogue, a little bit rogue.
a bit.
Well, it's I'm hoping before my time that the world will, at least maybe by the time I'm a very old man, that at least I'll be able to see change in the world. I think halfway there. I mean, because there's, like you said, there's still a lot of negativity. In books, music, TV shows. There's still, I mean, it seems like almost every movie or TV, whether it's a sci-fi or horror, is always post-apocalyptic.
Exactly.
We're already, just like you said, they're already writing out the history of what can be. And it's like, I think that they need to stress that in the opening credits. This is a possibility, but not definite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The first purpose of sci-fi was to be a bit to warn people that it could happen. It's bad. It's really not dreamful, and but finally nowadays it's a bit like if we get used because of that, like the movie, the series. Black Mirror, these kind of things. It happened. We said, "Oh, it's horrible," and finally, it starts to happen a bit. For some really precise example, it's already here, and sci-fi doesn't have nowadays this useful purpose to warn humanity that something bad could happen to us, and we need to create something new. We need to change habits and sci-fi is not anymore useful for this purpose. It's interesting anyway. They are really interesting series, movies, but for this purpose to warn humanity, it's not useful anymore.
Well, it's as much as they say it's easy for something bad to happen, equally easy for something good to happen. It's like, it's really what, you have to look at it, what's going to benefit humanity in even 10 years. You got to start looking to make it better. I hate to sound bleak, if it continues in the fashion of the negativity that's out there, your generation, the one after, may be the last one. Add that. The human race has to continue as long as possible, because we've got so much more to learn.
Yeah. And we got really, it's my opinion that we got really, really disconnected from nature. It's we live in a box. We we drive with a box into another box, and we will finally finish in a box underneath the earth. And we live in boxes, and we got completely disconnected from nature. And I myself, I'm a big I love nature. I love animals, and this is really inspiring for me. For example, when I compose something, but I got the idea in forest or somewhere in the mountains, and I need nature to get inspiration. This is sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best place to get inspiration.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because I was told a long time ago, and I believe it is, the earth has beautiful music. You just have to hear it.
Exactly.
And I think once you do, if you're a musician, that will help flow your ideas quicker,
Yeah.
you know, and kind of like almost like adrenaline, natural adrenaline that's
Yeah.
going to cause you to create your music, you know, whether it's lyrics or the composing part.
Yeah, exactly. But not long ago, I was running with my dog in a forest, and there was a lot of wind, a lot of wind in the trees, and I stopped and I looked at the trees. I heard the wind, and in this moment, this precise moment, I got a melody in my head, and it was a mellotron melody. Normally I run with my cell phone to have some music. Well, sometimes not, because I simply like to listen to the music of nature. But yeah, I didn't have the phone with me, so when I ran home, I sang the melody in my head for like 30 minutes, not to forget it. And yeah, it's always like that. I need nature to write music.
Yeah, I think you whatever press you're getting now, I expect it to be double after your first album.
Oh, you were cut off. We didn't hear.
I said however your press is now, the press you know, talking with you, it's
Yeah.
gonna double after your first album.
Okay.
You know, because
It's
that
good.
people are gonna you're gonna be, how did they say, more on everyone's radar.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's, you know, they're gonna hear about, you know, Oddleaf, and they're gonna want to know music.
Yeah. Well,
Let's hope
maybe.
so.
Yeah.
And I see you playing a lot of live places, even some festival.
No, not a lot. So we had one concert at the moment, and it was the concert where we filmed Back in Time, our live version. And next concert will be the 28th of April.
Mm.
April?
Yeah.
Yes. And a really, really important concert will be on the 6th of May, and will be the first band before. I don't know if you know this band, this musician Frank Carducci. Frank Carducci.
I heard of them, yeah. I
Yeah.
seen that name going.
Yeah, and we will play the first how to say
Opening
act.
We're opening
Yeah.
from
The opening act for Frank Carducci, and this is really big for us. So at the moment, now it's over, but we had 3 days of residency. So we rehearsed a lot the last 3 days, a lot, and yeah, to get ready for this concert. And we are really happy. We are really looking forward to it.
Maybe you can see it, but we are really
Tired.
feel us exhausted.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, exhausted.
3 days, really intense days.
Mm.
Yeah, but it was interesting. Like
Yeah.
it's the first concert we are in such conditions. We have a sound engineer. We have new materials like in-ear, you know, monitor, and all that is a big change for us. And we are really ready to rock, like we said.
Yeah, it will be the first big show for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And after your debut, you know, you're going to be asked by a lot of the festivals.
let's
You
hope
think?
so.
Let's hope so.
You're in Europe, England, and also America, even though we only have 2 right now.
Yeah. This
And
would be
we have two big ones and then one small one. We have Rossfest and the Cruise to the Edge.
yeah, I heard from
And
it.
then-
Yeah, Cruise to the Edge. Oh my God, this
And
is
then they have
thing.
one called, another big one, Prague Day.
Probably,
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
But they're all in the southeastern part of the United States. They
Okay.
used to have one up in the northern part where I'm from, but they stopped years ago. No one has continued that, which is a shame because the Canadians, somewhere closer for them to drive or fly. So they used to have one in Mexico and Los Angeles.
Rockfest.
Yeah.
But Los Angeles is a tricky area, even though a lot of good progressive rock bands have come from there. Spock's Beard.
Oh yeah.
It's very widespread of an area. But yeah, that's kind of my little prediction that you're going to get, at least from the European standpoint, you're going to get one of the big ones. I mean, I think there's Night of Prague or Night After Prague or something like that.
Night of the Prague, yeah.
Lorelei in
Lorelei, yeah,
in-
and
yes. Yeah.
there's another one. I know there's one in Spain.
Let's Brock, my friend.
I know a venue in Spain. But...
There's a Veruno Festival of Prague in Italy
yes.
called 2 Days of Prague.
Oh yes, that one.
Veruno.
Yeah.
It's a great festival. We tried to play it this year. They made a contest to play really in the afternoon before the big shows in the second stage, smaller stage. But we were in competition with Italian bands. There were votes on the internet to win. So it was hard for us to compete with Italian bands in Italy. We did our best. And at least they heard of us now. It's good. Maybe when they have the record, we will send the record to them and we'll see, maybe. So it's a nice lead for us. And in France, we have some also, Crescendo Festival in the West Coast. And there's a few smaller ones. We'll try all of them.
Yeah.
We would like to try this.
2024 will be the year then.
That's the project.
You probably get so much that you're going to have to choose, which ones you do.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see.
How did they say the tide would turn? Whereas instead of them trying to pick the bands, you will try to pick the festival.
It's nice of you to say it.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to add to what we talked about?
What else? Do we have some other questions?
Well, I got everything that for me personally, and with the origin and the influences and the song titles, and then you guys are going into the studio in October.
In October, normally, yeah.
So then in early part of 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed it.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
We have a lot of things to prepare, the cover, the artwork.
We have to find an artist.
How to release it with a label, maybe. We have all the things to.
Yeah, there's plenty of labels out there, that.
It's really, sorry, I cut you.
I don't know if it's still around, but there was a label in France called Musea.
They're still around, but not as active as before. In the 90s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, they were very active. Now, not that much. It's more distributor now than a record label.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But as we are speaking to YouTube people, if you are a label and you want to promote us, you are free to try. We would be really happy.
Oh yeah, you know, this is a great way to get your word out, you know, about your band, and it's no longer that, you know, put videos up.
Mm.
The labels are going to YouTube to listen to what's available.
Mhm.
You know, instead of the other way around, how they did it before the internet was strong, where the bands had to send in their, you know, their demos
Yeah.
into the labels, and sometimes uh, the demos kind of stack up on the
Yeah.
label's desk, and you could have sent it at the beginning of the year, and that you may not hear from them to the beginning of the following.
Mm.
But now you definitely hear from
Yeah.
it. I mean, and there's a lot of good ones in United States that would probably jump at the chance to sign you guys.
This is really kind of from you of you to say.
Well,
Yes. We have a long way in front of us. This is sure, because we are quite a young group and we have quite a young band, and we have a lot to learn. It's a new world, but we are passionate and we want to make music. This is all that counts.
To be honest, because with Karina we don't come from stage music. During the past 3 years we made maybe more technical things than music. We learned a lot of things about how to compose on software, how to a lot of tutorial on internet, and now it's time for music, and we will be more concentrate on that, and I think we can produce something good as an album. We hope that.
Yeah.
Well, now, you know, with the internet, especially since the pandemic hit, it seems like a lot more bands are not only just recording it, they're mixing it, and some of them are even producing their own music. And because the people are, since they can't tour, you know, at the beginning of 2020 and 2021 couldn't tour, you have to learn something new. And, you know, a friend of mine, that's what he did. He says, I couldn't wait for this to get over, so I wanted to record music. So I went in and did everything, the instruments to the recording to the mixing and to the final master. And he says, and I learned it all on the internet.
Yeah.
So,
That internet is great to learn things. It's not always great, but for that it's good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Must admit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day, or your case, night.
Yeah. With great pleasure.
And I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to more music and the new album and bigger and better things.
Yes.
Thanks.
We work on it. Thank you, Ron.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and see you soon.
See you
Okay.
soon.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye.